All right, we're here with the odds couple. We are like, I don't even know, 20-some weeks into the year of all kinds of sports excitement. Man, we started with college football, NFL picks, rolled into the NCAA tournament, and now it's NBA playoffs.
Busted my bracket, and your bracket was busted with Tennessee, so...
Yeah, congratulations. Tennessee, Christina actually beat me in the bracket because she had one or both teams in the finals, and it was more than I had. So I think I had one team in the finals, but she had one team going.
I didn't have either, so you actually won that then.
Oh, did I?
Because I had Duke, but remember they collapsed.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why I was like, damn Duke.
It's hard picking those brackets. There's a reason there's like never a perfect bracket out of like a million, billion, gazillion.
I believe they said the chance to do that was like 1 in some type of trillion chance of getting a perfect bracket. And I'm like, so basically, we probably won't see it in our lifetime.
Yeah, it's like that's why they give like $1 million to a perfect bracket, because
they should give $100 million to a perfect bracket.
It would take 100 years for somebody to actually
Somebody would probably put in like, I don't know, at least 100 brackets. I don't know how many different scenarios they could.
Yeah, you got AI now. You can say with AI, there's probably statistical, cannot really to tell you who's going to win, but
probably.
How many brackets would you need to do to statistically? I bet you'd have to do. It's probably a crazy number. You probably have to do 100,000 brackets to get every possible combo.
Yeah. I think I'm frozen. Are you frozen?
You're good. You're a little frozen. No, now you're good.
There we go.
There we go.
All right. So.
All right, NBA. That's your specialty. So talk to us about the NBA.
NBA playoffs. Well, there's still a couple play-in games as we're recording this being decided. So I'm going to go real quick over those. Whoever wins between the Heat and the Hawks are going to be playing the Cavs. I don't care who wins. I think the Cavs win that series in 5. Doesn't matter who. And then also OKC. Whoever wins the Mavericks or the, the Grizzlies, I believe OKC may sweep that. Because as far as Mavs are concerned, you don't have Kyrie. So Kyrie probably would have pushed it to 5, but I don't think that they can match up. SGA is playing way too well. So that would be...
you're just a Dallas hater because they traded Luka.
Well, they did trade Luka, but also, Kyrie's out for the season. He's out.
That's true. And you love Kyrie, so there's that.
I mean, I love AD too, but AD also gets hurt a lot, so you don't know what his availability is going to be going forward. And OKC is young and the best team currently in the NBA. So real quick, we're going to go Bucks and Pacers. I am going to lean... I'm going to lean Bucks on that one just because of Giannis.
Bucks are plus 135 to win the series, so that's not a bad pick.
So I'm just picking series. I'm not picking games. I'm picking series. We'll probably as playoffs go deeper and we get less and less teams, we'll probably narrow in on specific games after series. And then Clippers, Nuggets. I am leaning towards the Nuggets because Clippers are like known chokers in the playoffs. And you have Kawhi, who's so freaking good, but he's so elite, and he's not the same. He's inconsistent. Let's just put it that way. He actually could be probably the best player in the world. He just chooses not to be. I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
What didn't he play with the Spurs years ago? And that was such a huge game-winning clutch guy back.
Yeah, I mean, he guarded LeBron the year that they won it. Yeah, when LeBron was with the Heat. So the last year that LeBron was with the Heat, I think it was a 5-game. And they won it in 5, and he was the one guarding LeBron, and he made it very difficult for LeBron. So, and then he also won it with Toronto. He went up to Toronto and won. And
I mean, I remember he was considered
Warriors.
Yeah, kind of Mr. Clutch because he was winning championships constantly and clutch clutch 3-pointers, and then now what?
And then he goes to the Clippers, and he's always hurt, or he's not available, or whatever. He's a weird superstar. And then we got the Pistons and the Knicks back in the East. I am going to lean Detroit. I know Knicks have a little bit of a better record, but Detroit has been playing better ball as of late. And they've got kind of a chip on their shoulder because they think everyone's against them. And so I'm just going to say their chip will probably bring them to the second round.
That's an upset series pick there. So their plus 310 is Detroit, plus 310. So that is a big upset pick. So I'm excited to see how that one plays.
Yeah, they've been they complain that they're not getting the calls, they're not getting this. So we'll see how these young guys play with a chip on their shoulder. But I'm gonna roll Detroit. Maybe it's nostalgia from the Bad Boys. Who knows?
Bill and beer.
And then Timberwolves at the Lakers. I'm gonna take Lakers in 6 in this one. I think Anthony Edwards is too good to win. Just get them out in 5. It won't be a sweep. But you've got LeBron playing the best defense ever because he now doesn't have to play with the ball all the time. People didn't think it would work. Luka is just as good as passer as LeBron. Luka's in his prime. And you got the 2 young legs with Austin Reeves. And then you got LeBron. Like, he's LeBron. I know you don't like him. I love him. He's still top 5 in the NBA at 40. He's shooting over 45%. His 3-point percentage, I think, is like 39%. So it's still real high for 3 points percentage. And I just think the Lakers are going to take the Timberwolves in 6. Again, we already went over the Thunder. That Magic and Celtics, I'm going to go Celtics. Defending champions. They are the second best team in the East. It goes back and forth, I think, between Cleveland and the Celtics. So that's where that is. And then
I want to go back to your Lakers there for a minute. I just want to see LeBron and Stephen A get into it again. So that's all I care about that series.
I'm going to just rhyme this. All these guys that, talk shit about LeBron, they make a lot of money on him. What are they going to do when he retires? They got nobody to talk shit about.
That's all the media, every bit of it. Sports, news, politics.
Making them a lot of money.
Gotta have a villain. Makes a lot of money.
We went over Celtics, Magic, Warriors, and Rockets. I know the Rockets are favored to win that series. This will be my other underdog. I'm going to go Warriors. You got Steph Curry and you got Jimmy Butler. They may have peaked too high too soon, but I think that they'll take the Rockets out, the inexperience of the Rockets. You got Steve Kerr, great coach. You got Steph Curry, clutch shooter, who can put up 50 a game, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I just don't think that they're going to be able to take them. So those are my picks for the NBA. What do you have as far as NHL? So on the NHL side, I think actually the Warriors are going to be could be a sneaky team that gets further than maybe they're getting credit right now to be able to go. I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking in a couple of weeks they start to become maybe one of the favorites to win it all. We'll see. Yeah, that was a big thing because up until a week ago it was up in the air, the seeding for the West. And it could have gone either way. It could have been Lakers at Golden State, and that probably wouldn't have been a very good matchup for the Lakers. They would have wanted to see the Clippers instead, but they ended up not seeing either the Clippers or the Warriors, and I think Denver's going to take care of the Clippers. And I think now with Luka, if the Lakers end up facing the Nuggets next round, I think the Lakers take care of business.
Yeah, your odds right now are favorites to win it all is the Thunder, followed by the Celtics.
Right.
Quite a ways back is Cleveland, Lakers.
Like I said,
Warriors.
Cleveland will be sneaky because they don't have a superstar. So, and you've got superstars on all those other teams. So SGA is one of the favorites for the MVP this year, followed by Jokic. And I think LeBron was up there in like number 5, just because, after getting Luka, his defensive efficiency and everything else went up because he doesn't have to carry the team 100% offensively either.
Yeah, I may have to throw a sneaky little bit on the Lakers because they're plus 1,400, as much as that pains me, and then the Warriors at plus 1,600. So might be a $10 bet to win 160. So
I think the Lakers are going to do some damage with Luka.
Yeah, we shall see. We shall see.
All
right, onto the hockey. All right, I keep distracting us back to basketball. All right, onto the hockey. I think there's some really primetime games coming up. There's going to be some really cool series for those that actually follow hockey. One of the best series, I think. There's really a couple. So Lightning and the Panthers. That is always like the showcase. And Tampa in the past has really owned Florida until last year. And guess what? Florida won it all last year. So they had to take Tampa out to get there. They did it. However, Matthew Tkachuk, which some people love him, some people hate him. You either love him or hate him. There's no in between. Matthew Tkachuk has been injured, and there's Tkachuk. T-K-A-C-H-U-K-S. Tkachuk. And Matthew
what an unfortunate name.
Like we're dealing with Canadians and Russians, Ruskies, and all kinds of fun names here. So, yeah, Matthew Tkachuk, he's one of the bad boys of the NHL. So, if you watched any of the World Hockey Series, Canadians versus the U.S., which I think you did not while I was watching it, you're like, no.
I did watch the last game.
Good. Well, Matthew Tkachuk was in that game, and he's actually the one that created remember the first game they played the Canadians and there was all the fighting? Or did you see the highlights of that? Okay, well, him and his brother started all that. So again, a lot of people hated it. A lot of people loved it. So which side you're on is which side you're on. But he's been injured, so they don't know if he's going to come back in time or not. That is going to be, it's always, if you're going to watch a series that is just a battle, like that is going to be a battle series. So I'm going to go with the Lightning because I think the Panthers got him last year. There's no Matthew Tkachuk, or may not be. We don't know. He could come back and play in that game, they're saying. So it's hard to say. But Nikita Kucherov, Braden Point, and Andrei Vasilevsky is like that's a solid team for Tampa. So if you're going to take the series, I would take a series at Tampa. The next game that is always an amazing series to watch is the Stars and the Avalanche every year. Just like the Knights, right? I love watching the Golden Knights when they play the Avs, the Golden Knights when they play the Stars. However, it's unfortunate these two teams, which I think really either one could be Stanley Cup champions, or having to play each other in the first round, which I'm not a huge fan of because I think that hurts the two good teams that are in this thing. So, with that being said, it's we think I'm going to lean towards. Usually, the Avs have a tough time with Dallas, but they've got Nathan McKinnon, they got Cale Makar. And the big thing for Dallas is Miro. They have a Mikko too, but Miro Heiskanen is basically injured, and he's one of the best defenders for the Dallas Stars. Avalanche have got a lot of power. If you ever want to watch high-scoring games, watch the Avalanche because it's a shootout, right? And the Golden Knights can get into that bucket as well. So I'm looking at the Avs going 4-2. 4-2 is what my thought is on the Avs beating the Dallas Stars. And then the last pick that I have is going to be an underdog. I'm going to take it I'm probably going to take this one in the shorts, but I'm going to take it. And it's the Kings versus the Oilers. I'm going to roll with the Kings on this to win the series. LA always seems to find a way to lose in the series, so it's kind of a crazy pick for me. They're like the Clippers of the LA, of the basketball, of the hockey world, right? So, but, it's going to be tough because they got Connor McDavid on the Oilers side and just Draisaitl and some things like that. But with that being said, I'm going to take the underdog here. I got bit last year taking the Kings in certain games, and then they'd win an unknown game or unforeseen game, and then they lose one they should have won at home. So it'll be an up and down game. I would go ahead and bet them straight up. I would put them together with the Golden Knights. So if I'm going to bet this, I'm going to bet the Golden Knights because they're so heavily favored against the Minnesota Wild. It's minus 235 on a bet for them to win the series. I'm going to pair them with the Oilers. So again, the Knights are playing the Wild, and Minnesota Wild's not a real good team this year. So I think Golden Knights, unfortunately, or not unfortunately, just unfortunately. No. I meant to say unfortunately. It's the opposite of the Avs Dallas game. This is kind of like a world beater team against a team that just barely got in. Whereas the Avs and the Stars, I'm a little better about that, are two of the best teams, and somebody's going to get knocked out. And so, but I'd say the same thing. Like if
best
the Stars
record overall.
Just look. Best record overall is Toronto at 82-52.
Okay.
And then. It's there's a couple of Washington Capitals are 82-51, Toronto's 82-52, so, and then Columbus 82-40. So, but you know how this goes, they all go by points, the point system, so good times. We already talked about that, but the 111 of points by Washington Capitals.
This is what kills hockey for me, is that point system. I don't like participation trophies, and that's what I feel like when they get points for losing an overtime game. You lost a game, you shouldn't get any points.
Well, and that's, so it's Vegas was 82-50 on the year, but this is why they almost have to have points, right? Because if you look at this, it's 80, as many games as they played, it was 56-22. Sorry, 82 was the total games when I was saying that earlier. So 56-22. Vegas was 50-22. Dallas was 50-26.
I was going to say they played 100 and some odd games.
Yeah,
I
was reading my stat sheet wrong.
I was like, they play more games in the NBA. That's kind of. I go, or they play more games than the.
I was like 82-51,
MLB.
133 games. The poor guys would be dead.
Like baseball. Which I think baseball, if they would shorten the series, it would be a lot more interesting.
Maybe.
If it's shorten the, you know what I mean, the season.
Yeah, the season. Yeah.
I think the same with basketball. I think they should shorten the season with basketball. I think from 82 games, you should go down to 60. Play 20 less games. I get it, but you play 20 less games, you get better quality games. Because more people play defense longer.
The reality is they don't care.
And then you could space out, the rest for the players.
They like the money.
I get it. I'm talking about the quality of the game. If you want quality of the game, this is what you should do. Just like NFL, I don't think you could keep extending it. Like, I know they want eventually a 20 game, which is just...
Yeah, it's going to run into the same thing, yeah. Well, because you're going to end up getting where it's still going to always be more games now. Maybe if they extend that out, that players are going to be like, coaches are going to want to rest their players, and now you're going to start to dilute the games. They're going to be like, no player can make 20 games.
Like hockey and football, such violent sports. And basketball, they got to go both ways, up and down on their knees. Mm-hmm. That's why they're always having knee injuries. Baseball is probably the only one that goes long. It's just so freaking boring that you don't want to watch it until towards the end. But if they shortened up the series, it would be a lot better.
Yep. Oh, I agree. But I do like it's like, I like some of it where they have like, I don't remember what sport it is, but they'll usually start with like a 5-game series. I think it's baseball usually, like, right? That baseball first series is like a 5-game.
They do a play-in for the wild card, and they do their first round is best out of 5. I don't think they should. I think they should all be out of 7. I shouldn't have said series. I should have said season, because they need to shorten up their season. What are they? 123 games?
Yeah.
Something ridiculous like that.
Well, but that's what I think. I wouldn't even mind, like, if hockey and or basketball, honestly, NBA did like that first round as best of 5, something like that, and play into that. Because, man, that's just a lot of games, man. 7 games.
But you know what? But the playoffs are different because they all get the same amount of rest. So it's not like you're doing a back-to-back. You're getting the same amount of rest as the other team. So I like the 7-game. They used to do best out of 5. I want to say back in the early 90s, maybe late 80s is when they changed it. Right around there, they changed it from best out of 5 the first round to 7. And I prefer the 7 just because I think that's the best way to find out who really is the best. Because if you can beat someone 4 out of the, and if they're evenly matched, you're going to get 7 games. So, and those are the best ones to watch.
And I think my counter to that is it's unfortunate for the team that goes 7 games versus the team that they play next that swept, right? Maybe that should be good for the advantage of the team that went 4-0, but still, it's an extra 3 games, man, after a long-ass season. That's the only disadvantage to 7
No, I get it. And that sometimes doesn't work out, too, because it's kind of like what happened with the college football season. All those people that had that bye week that didn't have to go the extended and got the bye week, they all had too much rest because they had an extra week's worth of rest. And I mean, they already had 2-3 weeks of rest because the season.
I was gonna say, half time it's like a month of rest because they don't have their.
And so they just kind of lost, it didn't benefit Oregon at all because Oregon, no matter what, was going to have to play somebody ridiculous coming right out of it. They didn't even get the benefit of playing the worst team that was in that was in the playoffs. They ended up playing Ohio State and got freaking annihilated.
When's the NFL draft? Is that this weekend or next weekend?
The 24th. So next week.
24th. Oh, okay, cool.
So next Thursday.
I know that you were saying earlier it wasn't as impressive of a draft from your viewpoint, but
so we'll do another video maybe next week on that before the draft. Do our mock draft.
We'll see, because the basketball starts tomorrow, right? Playoffs start tomorrow, and then
hockey when?
I was just trying to. I looked that up earlier, and now I dropped it. I think it's this weekend too. So
So sports are heating up again. You got playoffs. You got NFL, and then right after we'll be talking about the WNBA because there'll be nothing for 3 weeks.
Well, the WNBA just had their draft last week, I think.
Yes, they did. Well, at least the WNBA, they'll have a little more excitement now that you got Caitlin Clark. She's really bringing attention to it. So
listen, I already told you I'm getting you on the golf course, so we might as well just start doing some golf in here too. Okay, so do your study on that for a month from now, so you can tell me who's going to win the next golf tournament. Okay,
and I'll learn how to hit a ball.
We'll start you off at Topgolf. How about that? Avalanche Stars like tomorrow. Swing. That's all right. Avalanche Stars tomorrow, and the Blues and the Jets tomorrow. And then on your NBA, what's that slate look like? No, that's
Lakers are at 5.
Yeah, you got 4 games. Yeah.
Yeah, you got Lakers at 5.
Clippers, Nuggets, Bucks, Pacers, 12:30, 10 a.m. Oh, shoot, 10 a.m. is Bucks and Pacers. 12:30 is Clippers, Nuggets. 3 o'clock, Pistons, Knicks, and 5:30 is T-Wolves, Lakers.
Yep.
Since I know less about basketball, my betting future will be on Christina's shoulders because everybody suggested she needs to tell me who to take, so that way I can maybe have some intelligence behind my picks.
On these first rounds, I would take on these first 4 games, I would take the home teams, and then probably throw in some players like I would say Luka plus 30.
Yeah, I know, right?
Whatever his total is, if it's under 30, take the over.
Exactly. I think that between that is always a pretty solid one, and then trying to think of the other one I like a lot is the Joker, right? He always has a million assists or
I would
a million
sit there
points,
and say, see if he'll take a triple double. Like I think he averaged for the season, I think a triple double, which is unheard of. But I believe he did average that. I'd have to double,
insane.
But I want to say I was looking at something and I was just like, and I think he's like number 2 or 3 in the MVP voting.
Probably.
Which is easy. He should be. It should be between him and SGA.
Yeah, I did a lot of prop bets last year, and that was always fun. I was not very successful at it, but individual player props. But I remember Jokic hit me more times than that, and Luka too, right, with his number of assists. And
imagine if they end up on the same team together. If now that Denver fired their coach stupidly. Well, that pits Jokic off, and he ends up with the Lakers after LeBron retires. Then you guys are. Then the rest of the NBA really is done. And I'm not a Laker fan. I'm a player fan, but I do like Luka. But those two end up together. The rest of the.
It'll be fun. Yeah.
The rest of the league better watch the fuck out.
but maybe Luka's going to go to Denver. What do you think about that?
I doubt it. He likes the attention. He's a shit talker. He's perfect in LA.
It's a little hard to breathe in Denver when you play basketball too. So.
All right.
Well, all right. That'll wrap up today's show, and we'll be back next week, and we'll see how we're rolling, because we probably won't have the series over yet for hockey, of course, nor the NBA unless there's sweeps, but we'll at least be able to catch up on what our picks were and where we are.
And where we went wrong, if we went wrong, and what adjustments we need to make.
Exactly. It'll be like, about that pick at the beginning. We're going to change that one now. And then we'll probably talk a little NFL draft.
Yeah, there we go. All right.
See ya.
See you guys next week.